Apologies, we're running about 3 minutes late. I was just waiting on the other guest to join, but I think she's tied up with work. So this is day 2 of the event. Please, if you join in, just notify on the chat, the live chat, so I know who has joined in today. So the speaker for today, his name is Xerxes. He's a law with business student at the University of Exeter. So he's owned 2 businesses in the past, and one of which flopped, essentially. He didn't have his return on investment, things like that, and it folded up. And then another one did really well. He had 150% increase. That triumph. So he'll be joining us today at 9:35 to basically speak to you about the pros and cons of business in the 21st century. So he's prepared, he's made his notes, he's made his PowerPoint slides. Unfortunately, there'll be no way of sharing his screen. So he's just basically going to have to, maybe he's going to send it to me and then I can share it via email with all the participants. Because there's no physical way of screen sharing on YouTube. I'm so sorry, I do apologize. In future, we'll look into that and all of that. So I really hope that those of you that joined yesterday were able to gain something, was able to be insightful. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes because he's going to join at 9:35, I believe. That's when he's scheduled to speak. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes to see if there's any more people joining. I can see there's people joining as well. So just keep that active on there. So I've shared the link with him and all of that. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel more than free to share it on the live chat and I'll take note of it. If you want to ask him any specific questions when he's speaking or after he's done speaking, I'll be more than happy to share it with him. I'm not sure he'll be able to see the questions when he's speaking, but I have told him that there will be question and answers, and there'll be questions which he will obviously try to answer to the best of his knowledge. He's not a fountain of knowledge, so by all means, he's not going to know everything, but he will be there. He will give his 2 cents on whatever he believes. So whatever he believes is right. So I've sent him a brief on what to say. So hopefully you'll be able to gain, something insightful from this event. Okay, I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join in, and we'll kick off at 9:35 with Xerxes speaking. Hi, Teresita. Also, if you missed yesterday's one, where we talked about goal setting and developing a high achievers mindset, the video is now live on the channel. I think the talk started 5 minutes. Was it 5 minutes or 10 minutes? So you might have to fast forward a bit to be able to get to the point where the speaker Onyinyechi was speaking about goal setting and developing a high achievers mindset. She basically talked about the SMART acronym. Never heard of it. That was my first time of hearing of it. So SMART, so S, your goals have to be specific. It has to be measurable. A, it has to be achievable. There's no point setting a goal that you cannot achieve. So think about what you want to do and make sure it's achievable. Then R, it needs to be realistic, and then T, it needs to be time framed. Is that what she said? Time framed, time something. Let me check. Let me find it. Time bound. So give yourself time. So you can say, oh, at the end of this month, I hope to have made this much income, or at the end of this particular year, I would hope to have had 5,000 naira in investments in so and so. So yeah, that was what we covered yesterday in terms of goal setting. And also hi Jessica, and also we talked about failing up. So basically, it's all well and good to set goals. It's all well and good to say this is what I want to do. I think the other speaker would be able to join shortly. Um, what was I saying? So it's all well and good saying this is what I want to do. This is what I need to do, but life would always happen. Life would always happen. So the most important thing is, even if you feel like you're in a circle where you're not getting to the end position, so you're not quite able to get from point A to point Z, the most important thing is that you don't remain in point A. So even if you fail again, the most important thing is realizing that you're not in the same position that you were at the start. Because if you're in the same position doing the same things, you're not really learning from the experience, then that's quite pathetic. So it's not a problem that you failed. Keep trying. What it is you need to be learning from that experience. You need to be using that experience to teach you. So you need to be learning from the experience and not just remaining stagnant in the same position. So essentially, learn from your failures and grow from there, and eventually you will succeed. So hi to all the people that have joined. We're just waiting for a few more people. The hosts will join in at 9:30. The speaker, sorry, will join in today at 9:35. So I've sent him the link. So we have 4 more minutes to go. Okay, I think he's ready to join. Let me see, are there any questions in the chat? Don't worry, Miracle, your network won't make you lose out on anything. I will save the video just as I did yesterday. And you can always come back to it. It will be there for future reference. You can always come back to it. I won't delete the video. It's fine. I hope everyone has had a good day and it's not been too stressful. Thank you to those who have just joined as well. Thank you. We're just basically recapping on what we talked about yesterday, but I sent it all out in the email anyway. So if you received, hopefully you would have received the email. The recap is there of everything we talked about yesterday. Okay, the speaker today is just getting ready to join. He's just notified me to say that he's going to join in a minute or two. So I heard that some people are apprehensive as to whether you'd be able to understand him. Don't worry, he talks slowly. So, and I've also said to him to talk slowly so that everyone can follow up on what he's saying. And like I said, feel more than free to ask any questions that you would want to ask. And I'll relate it to him and he will answer to the best of his knowledge. find out what he's doing and what is keeping him. Anyway, in the meantime, while we wait for him to sort out his technical issues, does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have anything that um, they want to know more about, or anything while I wait for him to sort out his technical issues? Does anyone want to say anything? You can type it out in the chat, it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna add him now. Hi, execs. It took you a bit of time.
I'm so sorry, guys. I had some last minute notice with my family, but I didn't want to let you guys down, so I had to find somewhere a bit quiet.
That's okay.
But I'm here now. Also, I tried to join on my laptop, but then apparently you have to join on your phone. So yeah, that was a bit confusing as well. But I'm here now. Yeah, so we can get started. How's everyone doing today? It's my first time doing the live here.
Yeah.
Um, and everyone,
Yeah, I think we did spend a bit of time waiting for you. But
sorry about that,
you're here.
guys.
That's the most important thing. So I've done a bit of introduction. So I have introduced you. So I've basically said you've owned businesses in the past, one of which did quite well, and the other one which folded up. So you're basically here to share with them pros and cons of business in the 21st century. So yeah, the floor is yours. Off you go.
So yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what Chisholm mentioned, but my name is Xerxes. I'm studying law business. Me and Chisholm we studied together, and yeah, so I've had two businesses in the past, and one of them failed and failed. I'll get into that sooner, and the other one did well. It did okay. Um, in terms of the one that did well, it made good money. It took time, but it made good money. The one that failed, it I didn't earn any money from it. So that's just me in a nutshell. Um, so to talk about pros and cons in a business of a business in the 21st century, so I've just got some notes up here. That's okay. Um, So the first thing to talk about is, should income be the sole purpose of starting a business? This is a really important aspect of starting a business because there are a lot of ways your mind can go into it. So for some people, it might be because they like something. So let's say you like to build things and you want to share it with people and you want to sell it. That's People would call that passion. You have a passion for something. And for
Yeah.
some people, it's because they just want to make money. They don't care how, they don't care what they do, but they just want to do something that makes them money. And these are all examples of businesses. So if someone were to ask me, should income be the only purpose of starting a business, I would say it's always 50-50. You need a bit of both. You need to know what you want to do, and you need to know as well um, if you're going to make money from it. Because if you don't have money, your business will not be you. It's hard for your business to carry on. Um, and just also as a quick disclaimer as well, before when I start getting into some other questions that I have here to talk about, as you know, I'm not Nigerian, so for you guys here, you would know better about the Nigerian economy. I'm not going to pretend I know anything or know a lot about the Nigerian economy. I'm coming with this from my experiences, and what I hope to bring to you all today is that you
Mm.
learn something in about businesses in general. In
Okay.
Of course, in everyone's situation, it's always going to be different. But like I said, I'm no expert in the Nigerian economy, starting a business in Nigeria, and I'll never claim to know more than any of you guys.
Noted.
So, Susan asked me what the first advice I would give to anyone of you guys that wants to start a business. The only advice I would give, or the most important one, is passion. Have passion for what you are doing. There's no point trying to start something that you don't like, because it will not go anywhere. So, me, for example, with my, and this is what I learned as well with my businesses as well, which I'm going to go on to next with this next question, is that the reason why one of them failed was because I wasn't passionate enough. So the one that failed was a dropshipping business where I was selling LED lamps. I was motivated by money, and that completely failed because after a while, when I wasn't getting money, there was no
Okay.
passion to keep me going forwards.
So I think in that sense, you've kind of answered the first question, where should income be the sole purpose of starting a business? The answer is no, because it means, for example, it means if you're not, if because some businesses, the return on investment is not going to be immediate. You're not going to start
Yeah,
making money immediately.
exactly,
So there's not that you need something more than money to keep you going until the money starts coming in. Obviously, the
exactly,
money is important because that's what it runs on. So I think you've kind of also answered that first question again as well.
definitely as well. And just to expand on my point, um, something that I believe in is that profit and money will come with time. It will always come. It will come somehow. But passion doesn't come over time. It starts from you. You're the one that starts it. The money will come to you, but the passion doesn't come to you. It has to come within you. You have to start the passion. No one's going to give you passion. They give you money. But then
Okay.
if you are not having your own passion, then no one else will give it to you. Unlike money, one day you're going to make it, one day you're not. Next week you're going to make it, next month you're not. But passion has to be consistent because you're the only one that can give it to you. So that's something that really, that was a big learning point for me. Something that I learned a lot about when starting my business. Profit and money will come with time, but passion is to come from within you. Perfect. That is the
Spot
perfect.
on.
Spot on. That's absolutely spot on. You said it much more shorter than I did, which is way better. So what did I do wrong in my business? That's exactly it. I was impatient.
Okay.
With your businesses, you have to be patient. You know,
So that's another tip.
success,
Patience.
patience with a business. Success doesn't come overnight. Success will take time. And like I said, with money as well, money, it will come with time. Something more than money, passion. Exactly. That's perfect. With money, money comes with time. Success comes with time. These things do not come tomorrow. And that's why when I was impatient and I wanted everything now or
Right now.
quickly, if I wanted everything quickly, then of course I don't have the mentality, I don't have the mental strength to continue when things are hard. Because secondly, another tip as well is that with business it will comes hardship. Businesses are never easy to run. They take a lot of mental power to keep carrying on when it looks like you're failing. So an advice for someone to be trying to grow their current small business. For anyone on the chat, are any of you guys do any of you guys have a business you're looking to start or like a business idea? Maybe to start.
From what I can see here, from the people that are joining, or from the people that are on the chat, I think most of them already have like their own small businesses running. Yeah, so Teresita, Triumph, okay, maybe not Miracle, but most of them. Exactly. Did you notice there was a miracle on here?
Yeah.
That reminds you of your criminal law teacher. Anyway, most of them already have
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
their own businesses running, and they're just looking for tips to grow. But some of them, I believe, are not yet.
Okay. For those, so yeah, so if you guys have small businesses, how I grew my business, and I think this goes for any type of business, whether it's small or even big, you're just looking to grow. Marketing, marketing,
Marketing.
marketing, marketing. Because without marketing, no one's gonna know about your business, right?
Okay, I
You
hear
don't.
that, but
I
how
feel
do
like you don't
you?
agree with me.
I know I do agree with you. I hear that, but how do
Yeah,
you develop the confidence to market? Because it's all well and good to say marketing, but marketing comes in different ways. So there's social media marketing, but not everyone has the confidence to put their business. So, for example, I like to do YouTube videos. I don't always
yeah,
have the confidence to go on Instagram and be like, "Hey guys, here's my new YouTube video. Go and watch." Do you understand? So
yeah.
how do you grow that confidence to market your business? What tip would you give to people to market them? So do you want them to put more effort in their branding, or do you want them to develop their people skills? What sort of tips would you give to them in terms, because marketing is quite broad, and I
Yeah,
think for me the major thing when it comes to marketing for me is confidence. You have to have there's a confidence aspect to it, but there's also a I don't know, there's also a skill to it. So for example, you have to put in some effort into your branding,
yeah,
things like that. So for example, with this event I wanted to host, the way I wanted to do it initially was just to bring 10 people and just talk to them in a very sad kind of way. It was Joy who helped me to market it. She clearly had the skills that I did not. So if you could touch a bit more on that and break it down.
So in terms of marketing, I think it. I'm gonna go with this from the perspective that you have you're selling a product or you're selling
Okay.
some sort of thing. whether it be you're selling services or you're selling, I don't know, beauty products, you're selling cosmetic items, iPhone cases, whatever, like that. Having confidence in what you're trying to sell. So knowing what you're selling, knowing it in and out,
Okay, so know your
knowing
product
know your product and know your customers. So when I
and your
say
value.
customers, yeah, so yeah, your values basically. What is your value proposition? So what value are you giving to people? Now when I say your customers, I don't mean people who are lining up. I mean people that you want to sell it to. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
as because when you make a product or when you have something in mind that you want to sell, or you have something that you want to sell. For the most part, I'm assuming most of you already have an understanding of who you want to sell to. If you buy like beauty products, you're not going to sell to men. Maybe you might sell to men, but you're mainly going to be selling to women. So that's the sort of thing. That's what I mean by customers, the people you want to sell to. Knowing who you want to sell to, why you want to sell it to them,
And what value you're giving to
and what
them.
value
Why
you're
you're
giving to them.
different.
Exactly. It's unique selling point, your USP. What is your
Okay.
unique selling point?
Get very
So,
technical.
yeah, that's like all the technical stuff for it. But that's essentially what it is. You know, your value that you give, and why you want to give it to them, and who should buy it.
So
Once you
essentially,
have,
your unique selling point is good. That alone should give you the confidence to, take it out to them and be like, hey, I sold this iPhone cases. Do you know that if you buy this case, I'm telling you, you can, if you drop it from 10 mountains high, you wouldn't break your phone. Things like, so that gives you the confidence because you know how you
yeah,
sourced your product, you know the value that you're
exactly,
giving.
exactly.
So that should give you the confidence to put it out there. Okay, so in terms of branding, what sort of advice would you give?
In terms of branding, so I'll use a story. I'll use one of my story of my own personal experience when it came with branding. With branding, I never was successful with it. Something I'm
Okay.
still trying to figure out myself. So the reason why one of my businesses failed is that my branding wasn't strong enough. In the sense that when you have, because branding, it's a name, right?
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's is a brand name,
Yeah.
KFC is a brand name, Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
Branding comes through, I believe it comes with success over time with your business. So the more people know about your business, the more people want to go to your business. That's how you develop. That's how you
Your brand.
strengthen and make your brand. So I think branding doesn't come from day one. Branding is something that develops over time. Branding is
Okay.
part of success, I believe.
So essentially, what you're saying is for people not to get too fixated on, wanting to have this brand and, going out there and spending a lot of money, wanting to brand. But obviously, do what you can when you can. So if you can, for example, afford to do a very sophisticated logo, carry
Yeah,
on. But at the end of the day, it is the value that you're selling that
yeah,
people want, not
yeah.
necessarily the logo. But then as you go along, um
Being good at what you do is also a point when you know exactly. So knowing your stuff, just knowing it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
as you go along, the brand will come. For example, Samsung didn't. I was learning. I was doing Samsung training the other day at work. Samsung didn't always start with selling phones, so their brand came as they went. So that's a good point actually. So
Exactly.
don't be too fixated on wanting to build this fancy brand, and eventually all the money that you're meant to invest in getting good products, you invest it in maybe a logo or trying to build a
Exactly.
fancy brand. Yeah, I
It's
received
not,
that.
yeah, exactly. And just to start off with, and also just one of my experiences as well. So one of my businesses that did well, it was a hat reselling business. very. This is years ago. I was still young kid looking to have businesses. Um, in terms of the success I made from that, that was more successful because one, I was passionate about it, and two, I had to be patient. So what I did was I bought a bunch of hats. I bought like 30 hats, and I bought them because I liked hats. I liked the brand of the hats that I was selling as well, and because I knew that the people I wanted to give it to would like them. So
Okay. So you knew
people are
your customers.
yeah, I knew my customers. They're fashionable. People into fashion, different colors as well. People like to style things. That I didn't have a brand at all. What I did, I just went on eBay. I listed all the hats for a bit higher than what I bought them for, but I never had a brand because at the end of the day, some people will not buy for the brand. They're going to buy for what you have to
For
do,
the quality.
for the value. That's why it all comes down to what you're offering, not about your name. It's
But the
different for
longer you
like
do it, the longer if you had continued to sell them,
then
eventually
yeah,
you would brand, you would
then
brand.
you'll establish a brand. Then I'm gonna have a name for my business. Then I'll be known as, oh, Xerxes sells hats. When people think of Xerxes, they think of his good quality
Hats.
his hats. Exactly. When people think of Louis Vuitton and Gucci, they think of bags, designer
Bags.
bags. But Louis Vuitton, the first product they used to sell were suitcases. But now
Oh,
people, yeah, their first it's like it was a suitcase, like a box with their design on it, and then over time they became bags. So even with branding as well, it can always change. You know,
so
anything can always
don't be
ever
too
change.
fixated on
So
it.
don't be too fixated. Embrace when things change. Embrace it.
Embrace
Hug,
change.
hug,
Okay.
hug change. Hug change because it will. Sometimes it's good for you. People don't like change because they know everything already and they don't want to have to learn something new. But you have to embrace it as well. So in terms of businesses, embrace change because
Right.
your business will always change somehow. Um, the next point is, should business owners prioritize passion or profit? I think I've spoken
I
quite a lot
think we've
about
spoken
that.
about
We've spoken
that.
quite a lot about that as well. I would say passion, but in the long
Passion.
run, it should be balanced. You have to balance it out. You
Yeah.
have to be smart.
Obviously, you don't want to be running a non-profitable business.
Yeah,
You do need your what is it called? You do need your return on investment.
yeah, exactly.
But passion should be your driving force.
Definitely, because even charities as well, you're not there to make money, but you have to
You
pay for
have to
your
make
rent.
money.
You
Yeah,
have to pay for your staff because maybe they're volunteering, but then there's always something to pay for that
there
not
is.
that you will not really think about. But as many of you guys as business owners know, there's always something to pay for. Even if you're not trying to make money, you have to pay for something, and someone's got to pay for it, right? So here are some more difficult questions for me. Chisholm wants me to talk about how the current global economy will impact business owners and what
Yeah.
you
So
guys
I'll
must
help you
do.
a bit with that. So just a bit of heads up on the Nigerian economy. I don't even think it's just specific to Nigeria. I think there's a world economic turbulence. There's actually economic turbulence all around. It's not just for Nigeria. But
Yeah,
if we're talking specifically about Nigeria, for example, the prices of fuel has gone up.
yeah,
So how much do we buy fuel in the UK? Do you drive? You drive, don't you?
yeah. So fuel
How
is
much is
about
fuel in the UK so I can do the equivalent, the maths?
£1.50 per litre.
Okay, so imagine a situation where a litre is now £10. That is the situation in Nigeria. So, where fuel used to be about 145 naira, it's gone all the way up to 700. Do you understand? So, obviously, with the increment in fuel prices, transportation is expensive. So getting to and fro from work, and even if you're working from home, you're running your business from home, ordering those products to come to you is expensive. Shipping it to your customers, even if it's just local shipping, it's expensive because all these cars, they run on fuel. They don't run on water. They don't run on sand. They run on fuel. So it's expensive.
£7 per litre. Oh my, wow.
So about seven. So imagine paying £7 per litre, and you're ordering in lots of products. You need to ship them out to customers. The cars run on fuel. So what do you do? And then so there's the issue of fuel, and then there's also exchange rate. So currently, a naira to a pound is about 1,100 naira, and I'm being very generous with that exchange rate. It's probably more, but 1,100 naira. So even people in Nigeria that want to import products from the UK and say they're importing bags with that sort of exchange rate, if you're buying something for £1, which £1 is the equivalent of 1,000 naira in Nigeria, it means that that bag that you bought, you have to sell it for 5,000, for example. No one is going to buy that.
Yeah.
Not in this cost of living. So how do you manage things like that?
Okay. So I did a bit of reading on the Nigeria. I read this article. I think in the midst of all of it, I believe the article was saying that the Nigerian economy is still expanding. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Mm-hmm.
But so okay, there's a few that it's
Come
a
on,
very good
Zex, you've got
question.
this.
It's a very good question. But I will give my humble opinion on this.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're living in a time now where there's a cost of living crisis everywhere. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not in the UK. It's definitely not as bad as Nigeria. But then it's the same effects. You know, people are tightening their belt. You know, they don't want to open up their wallets to everyone and start giving money, start buying stuff. I think to limit the impact of rising
Yeah.
costs,
Yeah.
it's really all about looking at your business, looking at what you're spending.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. This
You're
is
getting there.
this is a harsh thing to say, but it's also looking about cutting costs where you can.
Perfect.
So if you think you are advertising and you are having to pay your, let's say your marketing, you're paying 100 naira for marketing. Let's say you have an ad somewhere. Maybe you can reduce the frequency of the ad, bring it down, not advertising as much anymore, but bringing down your ads, and instead do a bit of more manual marketing, talking
Manual
to friends.
marketing. Exactly.
Manual
So doing
marketing.
the legwork.
Because sometimes when we pay to have things done, so that we pay to have things done, so that someone else will do it, right? Like when
Yeah.
you pay to advertise, you're using the computer to advertise instead of you going out, handing out a piece of paper and say, oh, "This is my product," and talk about it, because it takes time. Cutting and save, yeah,
and saving where possible. Exactly. So that's what the speaker yesterday said.
So yeah, you're right. Information is key. Knowing your business, knowing your costs, and finding out where you can cut down on it. So, fortunately, actually, okay. So, in for one of my businesses that failed, it was a dropshipping business. I relied heavily on marketing. I heavily relied on it. I relied on ads, so like Google ads. So you know when you're on your
Facebook
computer,
ads, yeah.
and Facebook ads, I relied heavily on that. And at that time, you know, it was a time where the prices were actually going up for the ad rate. and I had a lot of ads running, different types of ads running.
Yeah.
I won't get too in detail because it does get very, very complicated very quickly. But what I will say is, where you are finding success in one fo- when you are finding success in one form of advertisement and the other one is not doing well, cut it off and leave the
Okay.
other one.
That is doing well.
So because it's a small business, um, I think what would be more relevant is the fact that people are not looking to buy things anymore. I'm gonna go back on my
Yeah.
previous point and say that this is why it's so much important that you know the value that you are giving to customers. Because now, maybe one day, maybe last year, if you tell them, my this phone case, if you drop it from 30 feet, or sorry, if you drop it from 10 feet, it will not break your phone. That was last year, and they say, "Oh yes, I'll buy it. Here's my money." This year, 10 feet is not enough. You have to say, um, you can drop it from 10 feet and it will break now. Oh no, it's fine. If you drop it from 10 feet, sorry, I got distracted there.
It's
Um,
okay.
if you drop it from 10 feet, it will not break. And if the phone breaks, I will buy you a new phone. You
Okay.
see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're looking at having to provide additional value sometimes.
Yeah.
So in terms of the global economic impact on business owners and limiting impacts, I think in the
So
case of
you basically answered the question, cutting costs. So if you're advertising, if you're spending so much money on advertising, do you really need to be spending that much?
do you need to,
It's basically sitting down to do the assessment to
yeah,
understand what is it that what is it what can I let go of? So what can I let go of to help me mitigate my expenses?
exactly,
So if you're using 10 dispatch drivers to get your what was I going to say? If you're using 10 dispatch drivers to get your products from point A to point B, do you really need 10? Can you
yeah,
use 5? Can you cut down to 5? Also doing the research to find out what are people charging. So what are dispatch
yeah,
drivers charging? Can I find
yeah,
something cheaper? It's not just about relaxing and hoping that a miracle happens. It's about, you have to change with the times. You have to change with the times. So it's just like COVID. What happened in COVID? Every business had to find a way to have an online outlet. So every business had to open up. They didn't just sit back and say, "Oh my goodness, there's COVID. What am I going to do now?" They had
exactly,
to look. So you have to move with the times. If it's a period of economic hardship, look for a way to mitigate your expenses
exactly,
in order
yeah,
to increase what you take back home, because at the end of the day you're still going to need fuel, you're still going to have to buy these daily things, so you have to mitigate your expenses where possible. So I think you actually hit home with that point. I think
it's
you did justice to it.
yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna go back on my previous point as well with change. Like this is all part of change in a business because now that you've like let's say you've let go of 5 dispatch drivers, you've
Mm.
saved money there. Now, whether you want to hire them again once you know the economy is going well again, or you want to keep saving that money, that's up to you. You know, um,
So
someone
someone
said as
said the manual, sorry,
yeah,
say that again.
yeah. I was gonna say, Miracle said someone said the manual can be tiring though. That's why I go back to the point that that's why I go back to the point that you need to have passion because if you're gonna if you are not passionate enough for your business and you're gonna say the manual labor gets tiring, it, then at times like this where you have to go back to basics, it, you're gonna struggle because you don't enjoy it enough. So that's why I also say, be passionate, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy actually running the business, enjoy having to go and text everyone on your contacts. Oh, this is my new product. This is my new product. Enjoy going on YouTube. Exactly.
Yeah. I think also in terms of that, when I think when we say manual labor, we don't necessarily actually literally mean manual labor. I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
also,
yeah,
cutting down is essentially cutting down costs when you can.
yeah.
So if you can actively advertise it, for example, I'm a very good talker. I can sell things. I can The type of job I do, I actually have to sell. So I can sell things. So I think for me is, if I'm confident in the value that I'm giving to you, why am I hiring why am I hiring someone else to do that from when I know I can do it
If you
myself?
can do it
It's
yourself,
things
there you
like
go.
that. So I would so in order to obviously, if things are all hunky dory and we're good, why not? I like the soft life as well. But if I cannot afford it at that point, I have to go out and be like, oh, this is what I sell, this is what I do. Can you
Exactly.
support? And I think that's where confidence also comes in. So
Exactly.
I'll also
Yeah.
add this, because I was doing I had a talk. I had a talk in. I'll keep the name private, but I did have a talk, and the man literally said, walk around with your business card, and that is whether or not you have a business. Walk around with your business card. So I don't have a business, for example, I can just. He was like, it doesn't cost anything. You can even have it online. You can have an online version that you just share with people and just say, oh,
Yeah.
I'll send it to you on your WhatsApp. I'll send it to you via text, Instagram DM. But have a business card. You can have it physical or you can have it online. Obviously, physical
Yeah.
being the preferred, but if you cannot afford it, just do an online one. So when you meet people, you would always make an impression, whether good or bad. So
Yeah.
what we pray for is, don't have a bad attitude, don't make a bad impression, but you would always make an impression. So when you meet people, just hand them like, oh, you can reach me on this. This is what, if you don't have a business, you can just hand that card to them and say, you can reach me on this. Now, whether obviously most people, let's say 70% of people will not necessarily jump on and be like, oh yeah, definitely. But in future, they will keep, especially if it's online. Online has more permanency to paper, because paper can be thrown away. I get that. But online, in future, they will need something. If you made a good impression, they will come back to you. So you're sort of securing future business for yourself. So
Exactly.
it's always have. I think one tip that I would give to people, in addition to everything that you said, is have a business card. Have a business card. I think in Nigeria, you can make a few for about 3,000 naira or so, or just have an online one and just share it with people. If you find yourself in an event, in a gathering where you've spoken a lot to people and you feel like you've made a good impression, by all means, hand it to them and be like, oh, this is what I do, by the way. I sell hair bonnets. You can patronize me, and give it to them. You don't have to you don't have to jump down their throats and tell them to patronize you there and then. That is very distasteful. Please don't do that, but give them your business card. What were you going to say?
I was actually going to say, so someone in the comments said, what is it? So Annie said, what if presently your business doesn't have enough to run, and if you have to cut down expenses, it means you have to shut down. What do you do in this regard? So in this regard, if you're if in the unfortunate case, to be realistic, um, it's always businesses fail. You know,
Mm-hmm.
with every business owner, no one has ever made success in their first business. Um, so like me, for example, I made some success with my first business, but in my second business, I couldn't afford it anymore. I wasn't making money. I had to shut it down. But the first one I made success, and now the second one I didn't. It, I think it's also good to know that failure is normal. Actually, I don't even like to call it failure. I don't
We
think
talked
there's
about it yesterday. We said fail up, fail upwards. We don't fail down. We fail
yeah,
up.
we don't
So
fail upwards.
we talked about it yesterday.
Me as well. I don't even think there's no such thing as failure as well. It's very cliche. I don't. There's no such thing as failing. There's always learning a lesson. You know.
That's spot on what we said yesterday.
Although- but, but it's true. You know, there's no you don't fail. You just learn. You make success. Even with success, you learn, and then with failure, you still learn. But We don't like to call it failure. We always have a positive mindset with everything that we do. So in terms of your question, Annie, is it Annie? Yeah, Annie. If you have to cut down expenses and that means you have to shut down, perhaps this is a time for you to pause
And
for a while
reassess.
and reflect. Look back on what you could have done better. Look back on why it didn't work. So, were you not getting enough customers? Why were you not getting enough customers? Were people interested in your product, but then they weren't buying? How come they weren't making that final purchase? Why were they still hesitating? So again, it goes back to the original idea of under, you know, understanding your customers, knowing the product you're selling. It. I sound really repetitive right now. I'm sorry, but I just can't stress it enough. You always go back to these basic points, and then you expand from there. How does it work with your business? How do you relate to those questions, and how would you answer them? So for you, Annie, if your business is actually going to shut down, I would say to my business had to shut down as well. I lost money on it. I've never made it back. It's gone. All that money I put into it is gone. That's it. I shut it down.
Thank
I
you,
shut.
Jessica. It's only failure when you don't learn. So if you
That's
keep
when you
doing the
fail.
same, making the same mistakes and not growing, then that's actually pathetic.
That's
That's problematic.
that's that's something's going wrong. You're not doing it right. That's when you are wrong. That's when there's something wrong, and yeah, you are. There you go. Yeah, fail up. We don't fail down. You fail
Fail
up.
up. That's my watchword for next step.
Um, yeah. So when we're not doing well in our modules, we don't fail in our modules. We
We
fail up
fail
in our
up.
modules. um, but it's the like seriously, if you're I had to close my business back in February. The money that I put into it in marketing, I couldn't get it back anymore. If you're worried about the money that you've lost, like I said, don't think about it too much. Money is money. It comes here and there, somewhere.
And it goes.
Money comes and it goes. Um, yeah, money will always come and go. But you are here. Um, you are here to stay. You're the only one that can create another business. You're the only one that can create another product to sell. Andy, thank you so much. You're welcome, Andy. Yeah, because there are hard realities in it, but it's a very very good chance for you to sit back, and when you come back again to create a new business, you're gonna know not to do all these things again. You're gonna say,
Exactly.
"Oh, this one I shouldn't have done it. This one I shouldn't have done it. This one, oh yes, I did well. My marketing well. When I was giving out all my business cards, like what Chisholm told me to do, I made money from there. Now I'm gonna do even more." And this way, you're gonna learn from your mistakes, and you're only gonna get better and better. Like I said, fail up. We don't fail
Fail
down.
up.
Fail up.
Any more points to cover?
Sorry.
Any more points to cover?
So any more points to cover? So that global economic impact. That was a very scary one, actually. That one really tested me on my business. Marketing advice I'd give to marketing. I think we've covered that, but you said that most Nigerian businesses cannot afford to pay influencers. Yeah, cheap ways to market business
Yeah, so
cards.
most of the people here are small business owners. I don't think any of them are looking to pay influencers to, obviously if you can, by all means, be my guest. But most of the people here, they're not looking to pay Instagram influencers because the rates are ridiculously high. So I think we've kind of touched on it, but if you wouldn't mind, because again, they're not, they cannot afford, the business is too small to be affording Instagram influencers. Also, some of them don't have like high social media following, so they don't have 1 million followers or
Yeah,
100,000 followers. So, what would you do? Like, so
I
if you
would.
that.
So where I started off, sorry, pardon me, when it came to marketing, start off with friends and family.
Of course.
Because friends and family, they will do half of the work. And when I mean half of it, as in they will listen to you. That doesn't mean they're gonna buy it, but at least they'll listen to you. So when you market to them, you're 50% there. The other 50% is now getting them to actually buy it. So when it comes to marketing, where I would start off, definitely I would start off with friends and family.
And
Um,
can I just add that because you're marketing to friends and family and you're trying to sell to friends and family does not mean you should water down the quality. So, for example, if you're selling shoes, because you're selling it to your friend or to your family, you want to give them the worst pair in the sets that you have because these are your friends or these are your family. Don't do that. I think because I know a few people that do things like that. So they give their friends or their family the worst of all because at the end of the day, if they actually buy it, they're not buying it because they have a lot of money to spend and they don't know what to do with it. They're buying it because they want to use it. So if it's a shoe, for example, they're most likely going to wear it. They're not just buying it to keep in their house as decoration.
exactly.
They're buying it to wear. So if they wear it out and if you gave them good quality, someone will definitely be like, "Oh, I like your shoes, nice shoes. Where did you get it from?" That's where the business card comes in handy. So if you give out a business, oh, there you go, that's the online shop I bought it from. That's business
There
for
you
the
go.
future. So what tends I did this myself. Probably that's the reason why I don't have a business of my own. I did this myself. So when I'm selling to my sister or my friend, I give them the worst of the lot because you're my friend.
Yeah,
Let me reserve the good ones for outside customers. But the thing is, you're starting with your friends. You may never get those outside customers. Your
yeah,
sister or your friend is the one that is going to wear it first and
yeah,
take it outside. Then they would say and be like, "Oh, I really like that. Can I have that, please?" So try
yeah,
not to water down the quality. And another one would be you're not running a charity. So whether or not you're selling to friends or to family, sell it for the full price.
that one as
If you're
well.
charging 1,000 naira for something, don't sell it to them because they're your friend or they're the first customers you're having. So you're going to sell it for 100 naira. Where is the other 900 going to come from? Who is going to pay for it? So sell it to them at the price that you're actually treat them as customers. Treat them as you would customers. I
Yeah,
think that encompasses the two things I've said. Treat them as so if you would sell to outside customers quality, give them quality. If you will sell to outside customers for 1,000 naira, give it to them for 1,000 naira. Don't water down the quality because oh they're my first customers, let me treat them right, or these are my friends, these are my family. You're not running a charity. So yeah, I think yeah, that's the tip I'll add to that.
yeah. You've taken all the words out of my mouth. Um, that
Sorry.
if there's anything I had to add to that is also the reason why you should treat them as customers. It's about managing expectations. So you have to set expectations from day one. So it doesn't matter if they're your friend or your first customer. It has to be managing the expectations from day one, so that when people ask them how much did they buy it for, and they find out they've got it for 100 naira instead of 900, good luck. Good luck.
Because everyone is going to come to you, and Nigerians are very good at this. Nigerians are actually very good at this. Oh, you sold to this person for 100 naira. Why can't you sell to me for 50? Why
Yeah,
can't you sell to me for? You can. If you start at a low price, you will remain there for the longest time.
yeah,
You cannot. You can't go up. So, yeah, manage expectations. I think
definitely,
that
yeah.
yeah, manage expectations.
100%. I'm not gonna pretend I know what that is.
She's
So,
yeah, she's complimenting you.
oh, thank you so much. Um, but yeah, I think that is the best advice for marketing for it. How do we deal with friends and family who feel you should always give them stuff on credit because stuff on credit were like,
So basically,
I'll
give
pay you
them
back.
stuff for free.
Oh, for free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they're your friends. I think the simple answer to that is you have to be firm. You have to be firm with them.
yeah,
If you're selling it for one, in fact, they should be the one pitying you because this is a new business you're trying to get off the ground, and they are trying to run it down for you. So if for remember this, like remember the fact that they're not even considerate of the fact that this is a new business and they're just trying to get it for free. So that is a major motivation to stay wicked. Literally stay wicked.
Exactly.
Don't give it to them for free. If they don't want to buy it, that's fine. You're not
Yeah,
giving it to them for
exactly.
free though.
Like the fact that they're trying to, if you're a millionaire, you had the most successful business in the world, and they say, "Can I have like a pair of trainers?" Maybe you can give it for free. I've got 100 more. I have 100 million more trainers in the stock room. But you're starting out. You say, "Guys, I have 5 new trainers. Who wants to buy one?" They say, "Can I have one for free?" And you tell
It's
them,
only no. Where is the other four coming from? My sister said easier said than done, and I hear that. I agree with that. It's easier said than done, but that's what I'm saying. You just have to try to be firm. You just have
and
to remember the fact that these products were paid for. You actually invest. You did it. It didn't fall from the sky.
yeah,
I have sold a few. So uni season is coming back, and I needed to sell off a few things. I sold it to my family. I went down and I'm like, I don't put on makeup, so it was a few of my makeup products that I bought. I went down and I sold it because at the end of the day, I bought it, and I always sell to my family. Maybe they're probably more understanding than other families, but I think just stay firm, stay like be firm. Remember the fact that you invested in this. You need barest minimum. You need to make your profit. You need to make your money. You need to make your investment back.
exactly. And like I said, it goes back to having confidence in what you're selling. Having confidence.
Yeah.
You know what you bought. You know what you're selling. Why would you give it for free? Why would you spend all
Why
your
would you give
hard work
it?
and time thinking about researching, doing all this time? Oh my God, I found out my customers. I know what I'm selling. I know the value, just to give it all the way for free.
For
You spend
free?
a lot of time doing that. People think that, oh, but like, but you have to pay yourself. Give money to yourself for all the hard work that you spent
For the
thinking about
labor?
marketing. Yeah, this is also work as well. When you have to find out who you're selling to, what you're selling, the value you're giving. Someone had to answer those questions. It's you. Would you not want to pay yourself? Why would you give away everything for free? Um, but yeah, your final point: social media is important to business owners. If you don't have a large following on social media, I think it goes back to the marketing point as well. Is that start off small.
Yeah.
Over time, you will become. And like I said, be confident. Talk about your product. When you go out with friends and they bring new friends, talk to their friends, and then you expand from there. You have one friend, by next year, that one friend has made you 10 friends. But then if you have more friends, and you know everything comes with time. There's always a time for everything.
Yeah. So yeah, just to add to that, social media is just the internet. Utilize every gathering, utilize every social gathering, church gatherings. If you go for a party, birthday party, it's your brand, like it's your business. Don't be ashamed of your business, like especially if you're giving value. Don't be ashamed. Oh, by the way, I do this just in case you want to buy. Here's my business card, you can reach me. That's physical socialization. So social media is internet, is virtual, this is physical. So utilize every gathering. So yeah, that's just another point to add to that. Are there any more points, or have you exhausted them?
Well, actually, yeah, that was all the points that we've gone through. I think we spoke about a lot today as well.
Yeah.
Um, I hope that at the end of the day, I just hope that me talking to you is giving you something to like think about with your business, understanding
Hmm.
what you want with your business, and understanding where you want to go. Because at the end of the day, it's knowing what you want to do for your business. Because your ultimate is everything will be always be down to you. You control the business, you own the business, you're the one making the money. So
Well, Xerxes, I'm so glad that you were able to join. I forgive you for joining late. um,
I'm
you've
so
done-
sorry for joining late.
it's okay. I think you've done justice to um your your points that you were giving to speak about today. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for joining as well.
Yeah, I think we've
Um,
answered questions in the chats as well. So yeah.
yeah, as well. Everyone made some good points. Hopefully I've helped some of you guys out as well. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was an honor. It's great talking with you, Chisholm, as well. Very good to talk to you again. So yeah, thank you very much, guys.
See you next week.
I'll see you next week.
Next 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, in the next 2 weeks. All right, thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye. You can just log off now when you're ready. All right, guys, thank you so much for those of you that joined today. I think we actually had more people joining than yesterday, so good turnout, guys. So I will be in contact with the 10 people that have been awarded the grant for their business. It's not a lot, but I hope that it would be able to go a long way in your business. So I will send you an email, and then you can respond to that email with your account details, and I would, what's the word I'm looking for? I would immediately start up a transfer on the UK transfer app, and it should be with you latest by next week Wednesday. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate all the time that you've spent within the last 2 days, so yesterday and today. I'm so grateful. Please don't forget to leave us your feedback. I will be sending out a survey form for everyone to fill in. What went well, what didn't go well, what would you like to see, what would you like to see in in future events, because hopefully there will be many more like this to come. This is our first one. Oh, thank you, Miracle. I hope you get to actualize that business. So this is the very first one. I myself have learned. I think in future we might do it on Zoom because YouTube has a bit of problems. But I'm so glad you guys were able to join regardless. I'm so sorry that the speaker joined in late. He was having technical issues. But I hope you were able to pick up 1 or 2 things from the 2 days joined together, and I will be in touch. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. You're welcome.